All right. So if you discover after the fact that you would like to make something wider, or you're having issues where text isn't wide enough for you, such as in this example, what you can do here is you can use the Thicken tool to actually move the walls a specific distance for your toy or whatever it is. So one thing we can do is if we want to make these openings 5 millimeters, we can check to see how big they currently are and then do a tiny bit of math to offset the walls to the right thickness. So I'm going to click this little measuring tape down here at the bottom, and I'm going to pick this point and this point, and it's going to show me the distance between them, which is pretty much, when I hover over this, it lights up. It's pretty much, let's see, 2.687. So if we want this to be about 5, we can add 2.5 to this, and it's actually going to be a little bigger than 5, but that'll be okay for now. So I'm going to add 2.5 to these. And the way I'm going to do that is I am going to go up here to the Thicken tool, which sometimes it might look like enclose here. It might have this symbol, and you can click this drop down and go to Thicken. Or if you really can't find it, of course, you can come over here in the search bar and type Thicken. And notice I'm not in a sketch when I do this. I'm not editing a sketch. If I'm in a sketch, I'm not going to have that tool available. So it's important that you are not in any sketch. You're not editing any sketch when you do this. So I'm going to click Thicken. And what this lets me do is it lets me select faces. And every single one of these like kind of rectangular panels sort of is a face. I'm only going to do it on the outside because what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand the walls outward. And like I said, we're going to do it 2.5 millimeters. So I'm going to pick the first face, and we see it's going in the wrong direction. And it's also adding materials. So I've got the add option on here. So I got to switch this to remove. And now look at that. It automatically flips the other direction because it knows that there was empty space here and that I would want to go in the other direction. And then I'm just going to go around carefully, and I'm going to pick each one of these faces. And if I accidentally select something like, oh no, I didn't want to pick that, I can either delete the last thing that was on here, because a lot of them will have the same name, but it's the last one that you had. Or if I did it, I could just click that again and it will unpick it. Worst comes to worst, you can just cancel this all and start it over by clicking the X, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. So I'm going to go around. I'm going to pick all of these edges, and you'll see even sometimes it will, like in this case here, there was almost nothing to click on, but you can still see a sort of ghost outline of the original edge. So I'm going around like here. Oh no, what do I click on? Well, I can see there's like a little ghosty outline to finish offsetting that, doing the Thicken. And it's confusing that it's called Thicken, but that's just the term they use, because in a sense, we're thickening the opening. We're thickening the removed space in this case, and that's why it's called Thicken. And then when I click the check mark, that is going to offset that. And so you can go through and do that for each one of these, and it's going to make those wide enough. So I'll do it again on the 7 just as an example. So I'll click Thicken, and then I'm going to start picking the faces I want to remove. And again, we want to go to remove, not add. So if it doesn't look right, or when you're done, it just fills in the material, you know you've just clicked on the wrong thing. And I'll go around, I'll pick all these, and it's doing it way too big. So let me change the size, 2.5. These are all about the same, but I could have measured. I just didn't this time. We'll click there. And it's pretty smart how it does this. There we go. And now we have offset all those sides. And if we go measure this now, it's actually going to be probably too big for this one. Show details. I'm going to click just on one of these lines. Look at that. So that is now 8.64. So maybe that was a little too wide. And that actually makes sense if I think about it, because what I did here was I went in both directions. So that's why it's extra thick. So I'm going to edit, my face is in the way. I'm going to edit that Thicken there. And I'm actually going to remove from this some of these faces. So I'll pull away that side and this side so that we're only going in one direction. And now we've added 2.5 upwards, off to the side, off to this side, downwards, and to the left. but we haven't added double that by going in the opposite direction too. So that's just something to think about. I'll click the check mark there, and you can do that for all these numbers. You may even be able to do that all in one thicken. Like there's no reason you have to stop at one number. You could come up here and start doing that to the 4, going outward on the 4 up here also. And you can get that all done in one single amount. And then if you wanted to change how far you were offsetting it, you could. So I'm actually going to skip that one wall right there so it's not too thick there. And I'll come up here and do that. And now we have a 4 and a 7. And actually, maybe I shouldn't have done the double wall on the bottom. So I double click. That's another way to edit it. Let's unselect that wall right there. And boom. So that is a way to thicken an opening if you couldn't get it to work using the surface thicken technique. So I hope that helps.